Hello again, Jason here. So there's a lot of chatter in the world of indie game developers about making small games. One thing is true, your first game, maybe even first two, should be small games. It's very important to go through the entire process of building and releasing a game, including getting feedback and reviews. Releasing teaches you about all of the things you forgot about or didn't realize you needed. Control remapping, sound effects, sensible UI. There'll be a ton of things you didn't do as a first-timer because you didn't realize you should. It's up to you to do enough marketing and promotion so that you have a sufficient number of people downloading and playing your game so they can tell you what a horrible person you are. You'll be able to use that knowledge in your second and future games. But after a certain point, you'll need to grow up and start building bigger games. Why can't you just build tons of small games and sell them for millions? It worked for Sock Pop. Nearly everyone is saying that the meta for 2026 is make small games. And some small games recently made a lot of money. But you're not Sock Pop, and you're not going to be Sock Pop. You're also not Aramis. You're you, and if you want to build games and have any sort of longevity, chasing trends is not the answer. Once you've proven that you can finish and release a game, it's time to move on to bigger games. This is because there are some pretty big problems with smaller games. If you build a game in 2 or 3 months, that's not enough time to do all the marketing that a game needs in order to have the best chance of doing well. You need at least 6 months and ideally a year for enough people to be able to discover your game. Any less, and you're doing a disservice to your potential audience who didn't have enough time to discover your game before it was released and forgotten. If you build a small game, you probably don't have enough time to put enough character and flavor into it to make it a unique, fun experience. It's that much harder to differentiate it and make it stand out among all the other small games. Short development cycles also don't leave much time for all of the playtesting and feedback gathering that a game needs in order to reach its full potential. I've been releasing 2 games a year for the last 3 years, one small and one bigger. I'll refer to it as medium. The small ones took about 3 months full-time to make on average, and the medium ones took about 9 months full-time. All of the big ones have sold at least 10 times what the small ones have. 3 times the effort for more than 3 squared the return. You'll hear people repeating the idea that games you invest less in are easier to turn a profit on. Mathematically, it's not wrong. The problem is that games you spend less time on are also less valuable. One point that's often cited is someone putting 5 years into a game only to earn $100 when it releases. This horrible return on time is not because too much time was invested. It's because it was invested wrong. If you want to earn money making games, you have 2 full-time jobs: making the game and making people want to buy the game when it releases. That's marketing, promotion, community building, playtesting, and gathering feedback. Just as you need to learn how to implement realistic dragon physics, you also need to learn how to create engaging trailers and short-form content and get them seen. It's a whole lot easier to make content about a game that people might be interested in when the game itself is interesting and not just low-quality shovelware. A game with 100,000 or more wishlists on launch is not going to do only $100 in sales. The goal should be to build a game that is a pillar of its niche, something that always gets mentioned when someone says, "I just played game X, what should I play next?" Build something that shows up in the top 25 lists or top 10 lists of best tennis simulators or whatever. That requires diving deep into the niche and learning everything you can about it, so you know what players expect and dislike. It's probably also going to require building multiple games based on your previous knowledge and experience. Think about game companies like Larian Studios and CD Projekt Red. They've spent a lot of effort focusing on particular types of games that they're known for, not chasing trends. All Cat Games didn't release a Survivors Like in 2023, didn't release any Friendslop in 2025, and won't be releasing an incremental game this year. You should focus on a type of game that you want to make and would enjoy making a bunch of, and let that be your thing. Spiderweb Software is a mostly solo guy releasing isometric retro RPGs, and he releases about 1 per year. It's a ton of work to build 1 game a year, and it's a slow process to build up a following. But it works, and it's been repeated over and over again by solo devs and small teams. Most importantly, don't let the idea of possibly having great success with a minimum amount of effort lure you into making only small games. Success requires real work and a lot of it. After you've built a couple small games, it's time to take off the training wheels and build something meaningful. Thanks for watching.